Om. 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 Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurureva Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Yapyat Sarvam Trilokyam Sacharacharam Tat Padam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva Tvameva bandhuscha sakha tvameva Tvameva vedyadravinam Tvameva Tvameva sarvam mama deva deva Tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. Jai Guru. Om Sahana Bhavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavahai, Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Do we have Amini? Not
Aditi is
Amity.
online.
I'm here.
I'm sorry. I was thinking of Amity and my tang got tangled.
No worries.
All right, where are we in our text?
We're on chapter 39.
Okie dokie. Will you help us out?
Yeah. By itself, nothing has existence. By itself, nothing has existence. Everything needs its own absence. To be is to be to be is to be distinguishable. To be here and not there. To be now and not then. To be thus and not otherwise. As light remains itself regardless of the colors it brings out, so does the real remain real regardless of conditions in which it is reflected. Questioner: as I listen to you, I find that it is useless to ask you questions. Whatever the question, you invariably turn it upon itself and bring me to the basic fact that I am living in an illusion of my own making, and that reality is inexpressible in words. Words merely add to the confusion, and the only wise course is the silent search within. Maharaj.
Let's stop there. The questioner has articulated the essence of practice. Nothing more to be said.
The essence of what?
Essence of practice.
Oh, no.
Any thoughts on it? If so, drop them. Going on.
Maharaj. After all, it is the mind that creates illusion, and it is the mind that gets free of it. Words may aggravate illusion, but words may also help dispel it. There is nothing wrong in repeating the same truth again and again until it becomes reality. A mother's work is not over with the birth of the child. She feeds it day after day, year after year, until it needs her no longer. People need to hear words until facts speak to them louder than words.
So here is an important point. When it comes to things like a sankalpa or prayer, many people think I need to believe first, then I will chant, or then I will act. And it's actually the other way around. We start by acting as if. We start by just say the words, but I don't feel it, Jim. I don't believe it. It's okay. And actually, it was Puneet who shared this with me, which I think is so wonderful. When we pull apart the word mantra, the first part, manas, mind, but the second part, tra, means a vehicle. So the words become the vehicle for the mind. Now listen carefully. How did all those wrong ideas about myself and about the world get there in the first place? Through habit. That's why looking for some magic bullet, some secret experience really doesn't work. I have a habitual way of thinking and believing, rooted in ignorance. And the words help to dispel. This is why I so frequently will say, take on the slogan, the maxim, the mantra. None of my thoughts are real. I can't think a real thought. No personal sense of self is real. If I think I'm a person, everything my mind presents beyond that is rooted in illusion, and it's not going to work. Remember who you are. Always keep turning the mind back on the self. Who are you? Chidananda Rupaham. My form is bliss consciousness. Oh, yeah. I remember that guy. Brahma Satyam Jalan Mithya. Brahman alone is real, meaning I. All the phenomenal world. Mithya. Well, isn't the Kundalini real? Well, it has a relative reality, but no, it's not real. It has a beginning and an end and varies in quality and characteristics. And most importantly, it is knowable. It's part of the dream. Going on.
Questioner. So we are children to be fed on words? Maharaj. As long as you give importance to words, you are children. Questioner. All right, then be our mother. Maharaj. Where was the child before it was born? Was it not with the mother? Because it was already with the mother, it could be born. Questioner. Surely the mother did not carry the child when she was a child herself. Maharaj, potentially, she was the mother. Go beyond the illusion of time. Questioner, your answer is always the same, a kind of clockwork which strikes the same hours again and again. Maharaj, it cannot be helped. Just like the one sun is reflected in a billion dewdrops, so is the timeless endlessly repeated. When I repeat, I merely assert and reassert an ever-present fact. You get tired of my words because you do not see the living truth behind them. Contact it, and you will find the full meaning of words and of silence, both. Questioner, you say that the little girl is already the mother of her future child. Potentially, yes. Actually, no. Maharaj, the potential becomes actual by thinking. The body and its affairs exist in the mind.
This is why it's so important. There are two practices here. The first is we shift our relationship with our thoughts and feelings. We take up the practice of Sakshibhav, the viewpoint of the witness, understanding I am not my thoughts, I am not my feelings. Let it go, drop it, dial down the volume level. But then understanding that the mind is ruled by the law of inertia. The law of inertia is a body at rest or in motion stays at rest or in motion until energy is applied to change it. So if my habitual thought is ego bound and full of judgment and criticism, and I'm caught up in victim mentality, they done it to me. I'm upset and they are at fault. It's family, it's job, it's politics, it's the world. There's no hope of peace of mind. None. At best, what you'll do is play whack-a-mole with phantoms. Did any of you as kids ever play a game of stepping on one another's shadows?
Yeah.
Yeah. When you stepped on someone else's shadow, did it squish the shadow's head? Did it?
No.
Why not? There's nothing really there. I'll show them. I'll fix this. I'm gonna tell them. Or even we were talking about good intentions. Oh, they're suffering so much. Well, I know what's best for them. That's like pouring antiseptic on the head of a shadow. It's not there. Now, more advanced work. Yes, the world is like a dream, but we can do some dream shaping. Now, listen very, very carefully. The Lord protects ordinary people. Because one of their sankalpas is, my thinking doesn't matter. My thinking doesn't count. My mind is not powerful. Yes. Thank God, given what they think. But if you, as a yogi, begin to rediscover the law of sankalpa and you start to practice intentional sankalpa, oh my dear, you cannot afford anger, self-pity, resentment, fear, control issues. It's like someone who tosses a dull table knife, and if you accidentally grab the blade, no worries. That's the ordinary person. But if you have a very good, high quality cutting knife and you've honed it to a razor sharp blade and you play with it and grab the blade, don't complain if you cut yourself. Is this making sense? It's because we're dealing with law. There's no God out there or goddess out there that's going to say, oh, I think Howard's just so nice. I'm going to give him all the good stuff. It doesn't work that way. The law of mind in action is what we're dealing with. There's the macrocosmic form of it, Ishvara Sankalpa, and the microcosmic form of it, the quality of your and my mental atmosphere, mental intention. This is why, for example, the Master Jesus said, love your enemies. Even the Gentiles love their friends. I say, love your enemies. When you take your offering to the temple, first make peace with your neighbor, then take your offering to the temple. If a man hits you on one cheek, turn the other. If the Roman soldier demands that you carry his pack for a mile, carry it for 2. If a person steals your coat, give him your cloak. Return good for evil. Intend the well-being of everyone. What if somebody cheats me? Don't I have a right to be angry? You can do whatever you want. The law of mind in action doesn't care. But whatever energy you put out, return. And the more you spend time chanting and visualizing and doing practices that bring the mind to a single point. You think when you indulge in negative thinking doesn't have more intentional power. Think. Any thoughts?
I have a question on that knife analogy. Is it that, was that about embracing something external and focusing on it and sharpening it, and then you get,
No, it's the mind that gets sharpened.
ah,
It's your mind.
uh-huh,
So for ordinary people, they don't know that their minds have the capacity. So they don't care what they think. They can go to the coffee break room at work and gossip and trash and tear down one another's characters. Yes, it will have some effect. But if you spend 40 minutes chanting Lalita Sahasranam or Rudram Chamakam, and you spend time gossiping, don't complain if all of a sudden the boss calls you in and says, "We're going to let you go." Making sense?
yeah, yeah,
I'm sorry, that wasn't a clear image. No, it's the mind.
yeah, yeah.
So all these practices we do that are concentration oriented, they're wonderful. But you have to understand the ramification. And believe me, a single pointed mind is far more dangerous than a none. All right, guy. You get a gunshot wound, you can just go to the emergency room and get it patched up. But if you're habituated into negative thinking, it can ruin a lifetime. And we don't even know what's going on. Now, the good news, those of us who have been doing yoga, we've begun to practice returning good for evil, developing kindness, developing generosity of heart, developing forgiveness, developing santosha, contentment. All right, going on.
Questioner. And the mind is consciousness in motion, and consciousness is the conditioned, saguna aspect of the self. The unconditioned, nirguna, is another aspect, and beyond lies the abyss of the absolute, Parama Arth. Maharaj, quite right. You have put it beautifully. Questioner, but these are mere words to me. Hearing and repeating them is not enough. They must be experienced. Maharaj, Nothing stops you but preoccupation with the outer, which prevents you from focusing on the inner. It cannot be helped. You cannot skip your sadhana. You have to turn away from the world and go within until the inner and the outer merge and you can go beyond the conditioned, whether inner or outer. Questioner: surely the unconditioned is merely an idea in the conditioned mind. By itself, it has no existence. Maharaj: by itself, nothing has existence. Everything needs its own absence. To be is to be distinguishable, to be here and not there, to be now and not then, to be thus and not otherwise. Like water is shaped by the container, so is everything determined by conditions, gunas. As water remains water regardless of the vessels, as light remains itself regardless of the colors it brings out, so does the real remain real regardless of conditions in which it is reflected. Why keep the reflection only in the focus of consciousness? Why not the real itself? Questioner: consciousness itself is a reflection. How can it hold the real? Maharaj: to know that consciousness and its content are but reflections, changeful and transient, is the focusing of the real. The refusal to see the snake in the rope is the necessary condition for seeing the rope. Questioner: only necessary or also sufficient? Maharaj: one must also know that a rope exists and looks like a snake. Similarly, one must know that the real exists and is of the nature of witness consciousness. Of course, it is beyond the witness, but to enter it, one must first realize the state of pure witnessing. The awareness of conditions brings one to the unconditioned. Questioner: can the unconditioned be experienced? Maharaj: to know the conditioned as conditioned is all that can be said about the unconditioned. Positive terms are mere hints and are misleading. Questioner: can we talk of witnessing the real? Maharaj: how can we? We can talk of the unreal, the illusory, the transient, and conditioned. To go beyond, we must pass through total negation of everything as having independent existence. All things depend. Questioner:
Let's stop there. So his answer, let me give you a worldly one. Eyeballs are that by which everything is seen. But nobody's ever seen their own eyeballs. So if you're Shunyavadan, that would say, I've never seen eyeballs, therefore eyeballs don't exist. Likewise, you always are, but never know as an object. Yet you are not unknown. Now, the frame that Yoga Vasishtha uses, I find so useful. Both bondage and liberation occur to the mind. The self is ever free. The self is ever swayambhu, self-evident, known by itself. But the cosmic joke is everybody already has that. The most ignorant and miserable of creatures already has it. Nobody doubts their existence. What is my bondage? Nothing more than the deeply rooted conviction that I'm bound. The cause of that is spiritual ignorance. The essence of that is I think I'm the body. And I create stories, a narrative. There is no other liberation than the deeply rooted, transformative conviction in the mind. Not that I'm a Mahatma, not that I'm a Muni, not that I'm a Jnani, but I am Brahman. When the mind grasps that, this is called pratyabhijnana, recognition. That is what is transformed. I have to come to see directly. There's no person there. No, you can hang on to being a person long as you want. Knock yourself out. We will gladly reimburse you and return your suffering to you. You may have it back. Yeah, but I want to think the person is real and the world's real and be happy all the time. Oops. Contradiction in terms. If you want happiness from the world, you will get suffering from the world because they're the same thing. Going on.
Questioner. On what do they depend? Maharaj. On consciousness, and consciousness depends on the witness. Questioner. And the witness depends on the real?
So let me stop here again because I don't think Meena has been coming. The translator is translating, the word is Chaitanya that he's using for consciousness, which means the stuff of mind, chitta, prakriti.
Okay.
He'll use the word awareness for the ground of being, pure chit.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Going on, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Maharaj. The witness is the reflection of the real and all its purity. It depends on the condition of the mind. Where clarity and detachment predominate, the witness consciousness comes into being. It is just like saying that where the water is clear and quiet, the image of the moon appears, or like daylight that appears as sparkle in the diamond.
So for a person who has that deep, profound insight, Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, where does that insight take place? Is it the self? It's the mind. It's the awakened state of mind. And even though it exists in Maya, remember that's where all my suffering is. Any thoughts on this? Going on.
Questioner. Can there be consciousness without the witness? Maharaj. Without the witness, it becomes unconsciousness, just living. The witness is latent in every state of consciousness, just like light in every color. There can be no knowledge without the knower, and no knower without his witness.
So you are the witness. You don't really become the witness. You don't practice witnessing actually. We practice noticing that I'm the witness. Most people have no recollection, no consciousness of the fact that, oh, there's a subject object all the time. Whatever phenomena, gross or subtle, goes on, there's always somebody there to know it, or it's not known. Going on.
Hey, sorry, it's Natasha. I'm just, I don't know if this is the right moment to ask this, so just,
Sure.
but I am starting to have like a newer separation, like beginning percolation of a separation of some awareness. I mean, really beginning separation of where like insights or thoughts or I don't know, knowing is coming from in me. And so when you just said, but I'm quite confused. So if you just said that, what was it, that that it's the awakened mind in which the,
What's the difference between you and Amma?
well, I mean, she knows who she is in every moment.
Is the self in you different than the self in Amma?
No,
Exactly. So what's the difference?
she knows who she is. I don't know.
Where does that take place? In her left toe?
No, but I thought it was beyond the mind. I guess if I didn't know, but if I
The self is beyond the mind.
the what?
The self is beyond the mind, but the self in you is beyond the mind.
Right.
So we got to make sure what level we're talking about. Amma is the self. Guess what? So are you. What's the difference between the Mahatma and the ordinary person? The mind. Her mind is fully awake. She is in a full state of yoga. You, right now, think you're a body. You think you're a person. You think you're born and have all these experiences and then you die. But it's no different than if you buy a pair of shoes and you wear them for a few years and they wear out and then you toss them. You're not your shoes. You're also not your body. You're also not your mind. So it is the mind itself that realizes its own unreality. Is this useful?
Yeah, but then how does thoughts relate to the mind in this description?
The mind is nothing but thoughts.
Right. So then,
But where do the thoughts occur? In my field of awareness. But does that awareness that knows the thoughts actually change? Or is it just the thoughts that change?
just the thoughts that change.
You sure about that?
Well, my awareness goes in and out, but the thoughts just,
Does it really go in and out? This is one of the things Maharaj is saying. Let me give you an example. Do you see the AirPods in my hand?
yeah,
Do you see there are no AirPods in my hand?
yeah.
Your eyes didn't change. Only what you saw changed. But you can see presence and absence. You see the presence of thoughts, you see the absence of thought. Now, when the mind is completely free from thought, even if it's just a moment, and the attentive faculty is turned inward. See, this is where some people have problems. If the mind is focused outward, it's its nature to look at stuff. And the thoughting stops. We call it spacing out. So you're taking the BART train home from work. Your mind stops because you're fatigued. And your mind comes back. What did you realize? BART seat. So you have to have the attention turned inward. Then when the mind, the thoughting stops, it's very clear. You remain without any conditioning. And then when the mind returns, you go, oh, I get it. There's nobody there. There's no Jim. There's no Natasha. But then the mind said, yeah, but what about my problems? Well, who is it who's having the problems? Does the cell have those problems? Look. Don't just answer by what you've heard. Look and see whether or not that vast empty space of pure awareness has any problems. So the one who thought she had problems, she's not real. Let it go. Ego always says there's a solution that's external and I have to struggle toward it. Yoga says it's the ahankriti itself, the egoism, that's the problem. Drop the struggler. Just don't do something, stand there. Just don't do something, sit there. Yeah, but. Drop it. Just keep hearing this over and over and over again. And my belief in the substantial, concrete reality of the phenomenal world, and most importantly, my belief in the reality of a personal sense of self will start to fade away. Going back to what Maharaj said at the beginning of the chapter, this is what the words of truth can help us do. Is this useful, Natasha?
It's moving around in there.
Well, what needs to happen when you're through the quarantine come on over and the two of us will sit and we'll see if we can get you into a direct experience.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Let's see. All right, going on.
Let's see. Oh yeah. Questioner. Can there be consciousness without the witness? Without the witness, it becomes unconsciousness, just living. The witness is latent in every state of consciousness, just like light in every color. There can be no knowledge without the knower, and no knower without his witness. Not only do you know, but you know that you know. Questioner. If the unconditioned cannot be experienced, for all experience is conditioned, then why talk of it at all? Maharaj. How can there be knowledge of the conditioned without the unconditioned? There must be a source from which all this flows, a foundation on which all stands. Self-realization is primarily the knowledge of one's conditioning and the awareness that the infinite variety of conditions depends on our infinite ability to be conditioned and to give rise to variety. To the conditioned mind, the unconditioned appears as the totality as well as the absence of everything. Neither can be directly experienced, but this does not make it non-existent. Questioner. Is it not a feeling? Maharaj. A feeling too is a state of mind. Just like a healthy body does not call for attention, so is the unconditioned free from experience. Take the experience of death. The ordinary man is afraid to die because he is afraid of change. The Jnani is not afraid because his mind is dead already. He does not think, I live. He knows there is life. There is no change in it and no death. Death appears to be a change in time and space. Where there is neither time nor space, how can there be death? The Jnani is already dead to name and shape. How can their loss affect him? The man in the train travels from place to place, but the man off the train goes nowhere, for he is not bound for a destination. He has nowhere to go, nothing to do, nothing to become. Those who make plans will be born to carry them out. Those who make no plans need not be born. Questioner. What is the purpose of pain and pleasure? Maharaj. Do they exist by themselves or only in the mind? Questioner. Still they exist. Never mind the mind. Maharaj. Pain and pleasure are merely symptoms, the results of wrong knowledge and wrong feeling. A result cannot have a purpose of its own. Questioner. In God's economy, everything must have a purpose. Maharaj. Do you know God so that you can talk of him so freely? What is God to you? A sound? A word on paper? An idea in the mind? Questioner. By his power I am born and kept alive. Maharaj. And suffer and die. Are you glad? Questioner. It may be my own fault that I suffer and die. I was created unto life eternal. Maharaj. Why eternal in the future and not in the past? What has a beginning must have an end. Only the beginningless is endless. Questioner. God may be a mere concept, a working theory, a very useful concept all the same. Maharaj. For this, it must be free of inner contradictions, which is not the case. Why not work on the theory that you are your own creation and creator? At least there will be no external God to battle with. Questioner. The world is so rich and complex. How could I create it? Maharaj. Do you know yourself enough to know what you can do and what you cannot? You do not know your...
Stop there. Maharaj is not saying that one's ego creates the world. When he says know yourself, he means knowing Paramatma. He means knowing Brahman, from which all things come. Very careful about that. Going on.
You do not know your own powers. You never investigated. Begin with yourself now. Questioner, everybody believes in God. Maharaj, to me you are your own God. But if you think otherwise, think to the end. If there be God, then all is God's and all is for the best. Welcome all that comes with a glad and thankful heart, and love all creatures. This too will take you to yourself. And that's the end of the chapter.
Any thoughts on any of it? All right, let's start the next one.
Chapter 40. Only the self is real. You imagine that without cause there can be no happiness. To me, dependence on anything for happiness is utter misery. Pleasure and pain have causes, while my state is my own, totally uncaused, independent, unassailable. Maharaj, the world is but a show, glittering and empty. It is, and yet it is not. It is there as long as I want to see it and take part in it. When I cease caring, it dissolves. It has no cause and serves no purpose. It just happens when we are absent-minded. It appears exactly as it looks, but there is no depth in it or meaning. Only the onlooker is real, whether you call him the self or Atma. To the self, the world is but a colorful show which he enjoys as long as it lasts and forgets when it is over. Whatever happens on the stage makes him shudder in terror or roll with laughter, yet all the time he is aware that it is but a show. Without desire or fear, he enjoys it as it happens. Questioner, the person immersed in the world has a life of many flavors. He weeps and he laughs, loves and hates, desires and fears, suffers and rejoices. The desireless and fearless Jnani, what life has he? Is he not left high and dry in his aloofness? Maharaj, his state is not so desolate. It tastes of pure, uncaused, undiluted bliss. He is happy and fully aware that happiness is his very nature, and that he need not do anything nor strive for anything to secure it. It follows him, more real than the body, nearer than the mind itself. You imagine that without cause there can be no happiness. To me, dependence on anything for happiness is utter misery. Pleasure and pain have causes, while my state is my own, totally uncaused, independent, unassailable.
So, an example, let's say you pick up a magazine with food recipes in it, and you turn to a page of a wonderful stew, and then you pick up the magazine and start licking it, and complain that it tastes yucky or doesn't taste like anything at all. But it looked so delicious. So is the world. Yeah, but I do get happiness for this, that, and the other thing. All that's happening when desire, an object of desire become one. For a moment, the mind is free from its jonesing, its craving, its longing, its discontent. And I actually get a taste of myself. So I'm looking through the food magazine and I'm eating toast with jam and I spill some strawberry jam on the page and it's vegetable stew. And I go, ooh, I'm gonna taste the vegetable stew. That's funny, it tastes like strawberry. I'm attributing to the page the quality of the jam I spilled on it. It's not real. Likewise, great sex, a partner, money, a house, beautiful body. It looks so delicious. I'm gonna go. It must be real. I had a little bit of happiness. That's nothing but Brahmananda Rasaswad. A taste of the juice, not of the object, but of myself. So Maharaj is saying, why do food porn? Why not go directly to the source? Chidananda Rupaham, my form is bliss consciousness. Shivoham, Shivoham. Doesn't mean the world ceases to appear. But it's trinkets and baubles, not something real. Going on.
Pleasure and pain have causes, while my state is my own, totally uncaused, independent, unassailable. Questioner, like a play on the stage? Maharaj, the play was written, planned, and rehearsed. The world just sprouts into being out of nothing and returns to nothing. Questioner, is there no creator? Was not the world in the mind of Brahma before it was created? Maharaj, as long as you are outside of my state, you will have creators, preservers, and destroyers. But once with me, you will know the self only and see yourself in all. Questioner, you function nevertheless. Maharaj, when you are giddy, you see the world running in circles round you. Obsessed with the idea of means and ends, of work and purpose, you see me apparently functioning. In reality, I only look. Whatever is done on the stage. Joy and sorrow, life and death, they are all real to the man in bondage. To me, they are all in the show, as unreal as the show itself. I may perceive the world just like you, but you believe yourself to be in it, while I see it as an iridescent drop in the vast expanse of consciousness. Questioner, we are all getting old. Old age is not pleasant. All aches and pains, weakness, and the approaching end. How does a Jnani feel as an old man? How does his inner self look at his own senility.
Senility, yes.
Maharaj, as he gets older, he grows more and more happy and peaceful. After all, he is going home. Like a traveler nearing his destination and collecting his luggage, he leaves the train without regret. Questioner, surely there's a contradiction. We are told the Gyani is beyond all change. His happiness neither grows nor wanes. How can he grow happier because of being old, and that in spite of physical weakness and so on? Maharaj, there is no contradiction. The reel of destiny is coming to its end. The mind is happy. The mist of bodily existence is lifting. The burden of the body is growing less from day to day. Questioner, let us say the Gyani is ill. He has caught some flu, and every joint aches and burns. What is his state of mind? Maharaj, every sensation is contemplated in perfect equanimity. There is no desire for it or refusal. It is as it is, and he looks at it with a smile of affectionate detachment. Questioner, he may be detached from his own suffering, but still it is there. Maharaj, it is there, but it does not matter. Whatever state I am in, I see it as a state of mind to be accepted as it is. Questioner, pain is pain. You experience it all the same. Maharaj, he who experiences the body experiences its pain and pleasures. I am neither the body nor the experiencer of the body. Questioner, let us say you are 25 years old. Your marriage is arranged and performed, and the household duties crowd upon you. How would you feel? Maharaj, just as I feel now. You keep on insisting that my inner state is molded by outer events. It is just not so. Whatever happens, I remain. At the root of my being is pure awareness, a speck of intense light. This speck, by its very nature, radiates and creates pictures in space and events and time, effortlessly and spontaneously. As long as it is merely aware, there is no problem. There are no problems. But when the discriminative mind comes into being and creates distinctions, pleasure and pain arise. During sleep, the mind is in abeyance, and so are pain and pleasure. The process of creation continues, but no notice is taken. The mind is a form of consciousness, and consciousness is an aspect of life. Life creates everything, but the supreme is beyond all. Questioner.
And it can be even in the waking state. So, for example, let's say you have an ache or a pain in your body, and you're out with friends and you're engaged in conversation and you're laughing and carrying on. For the time you're with them, you forget your ache or pain. And you leave and get in your car or Uber and come home. You go, oh, yes, my knee is hurting still. Who's had that experience? Most of us have. The knee didn't change, just where our attention was. Going on.
Questioner. The Supreme is the master, and consciousness his servant. Maharaj. The master is in consciousness, not beyond. Excuse me.
Bless you.
In terms of consciousness, the Supreme is creation and dissolution, concretion and abstraction, the focal and the universal. It is also neither. Words do not reach there, nor mind. Questioner. The Gyani seems to be very lonely, being all by. The Gyani seems to be a very lonely being, all by himself. Maharaj, he is alone, but he is all. He is not even a being. He is the beingness of all beings. Not even that. No words apply. He is what he is, the ground from which all grows. Questioner, are you not afraid to die? Maharaj, I shall tell you how my guru's guru died. After announcing that his end was nearing, he stopped eating without changing the routine of his daily life. On the 11th day, at prayer time, he was singing and clapping vigorously and suddenly died. Just like that, between two movements, like a blown out candle. Everybody dies as he lives. I am not afraid of death because I am not afraid of life. I live a happy life and shall die a happy death. Misery is to be born, not to die. All depends on how you look at it. Questioner, there can be no evidence of your state. All I know about it is what you say. All I see is a very interesting old man. Maharaj, you are the interesting old man, not me. I was never born. How can I grow old? What I appear to be to you exists only in your mind. I am not concerned with it. Questioner, even as a dream, you are a most unusual dream. Maharaj, I am a dream that can wake you up. You will have the proof of it in your very waking up. Questioner, imagine that the news reaches you that I have died. Somebody tells you, you know so and so? He died. What would be your reaction? Maharaj, I would be very happy to have you back home. Really glad to see you out of this foolishness. Questioner, which foolishness? Maharaj, of thinking that you were born and will die, that you are a body displaying a mind and all such nonsense. In my world, nobody is born and nobody dies. Some people go on a journey and come back. Some people never leave. What difference does it make since they travel in dreamlands, each wrapped up in his own dream? Only the waking up is important. It is enough to know the I am as reality and also love. Questioner, my approach is not so absolute, hence my question. Throughout the West, people are in search of something real. They turn to science, which tells them a lot about matter, a little about the mind, and nothing about the nature and purpose of consciousness. To them, reality is objective, outside, the observable and describable, directly or by inference. About the subjective aspect of reality, they know nothing. It is extremely important to let them know that there is reality, and it is to be found in the freedom of consciousness from matter and its limitations and distortions. Most of the people in the world just do not know that there is a reality which can be found and experienced in consciousness. It seems very important that they should hear the good news from somebody who has actually experienced it. Such witnesses have always existed, and their testimony is precious. Maharaj, of course, the gospel of self-realization, once heard, will never be forgotten. Like a seed left in the ground, it will wait for the right season and sprout and grow into a mighty tree. That's the end of the chapter.
And that's the end of our time, a good place to stop. Any thoughts before we quit? Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Sri Guru Pyo Namaha Hari Om.